Gender wear sabu.
Well, guys, welcome to a very special edition of Into the West Comics, a Saturday San Diego Comic-Con reaction. We got so much stuff that the hot dog and I had to get together tonight.
Had to do it.
And go over a lot of this stuff that we got as far as announcements. The last couple of days have been a lot of news coming out, but this is kind of like the money day for San Diego Comic-Con with all of the announcements, all of the Hall H participation. If you were one of those people in San Diego Comic-Con that was waiting for the Hall H session for Marvel that ended about 2 hours ago, a little over 2 hours ago, there's about 6,500 people that were in Hall H. There was a fire alarm pulled right when the session started, so it got delayed by a little bit before they got to kick that off. But they were not disappointed. I think they definitely got a little bit of bang for their buck.
Way more than they expected, that's for sure.
I totally agree with that. I'm here with the hot dog, of course.
He's in the hot dog region today.
I'm in the hot dog region. Guys, I don't know what to start with really quick. We're gonna get to that trailer that we've been waiting for, it seems like, for a long time. We're gonna get to that trailer a little bit, and we have a couple of other trailers. Paul, what did you think for overall what we saw over the course of the day? We got a lot of stuff today, not just the Marvel Hall H stuff, but we got a lot of stuff today.
Yeah, we got so much more than I expected, and I think that we as a whole expected, because, I mean, Marvel the whole time was talking about how they weren't really going to show that much. And that
about a month ago, right? I think they said like a month ago. Like,
even up until, like, even a couple days ago. Sorry, Quan. Even a couple days ago, we they were saying that a lot of the stuff we're going to see is going to be on at D23, and they're still saying that there's going to be a bunch of stuff there, which is more exciting. There's a couple of glaring announcements that we didn't get from today, which it's amazing how awesome today was. I think it was the big trailer, Wakanda Forever, which we're going to get to later. Want to finish with a bang later.
Yeah.
We're going to do Shazam, and then we're going to go into She-Hulk, and then we'll go to Wakanda, and then just Marvel stuff. But that was so big that we kind of forgot. Oh, crap, we didn't get anything about the X-Men. But we did get a release date for Fantastic Four. Which,
yeah, and that's, I mean, we're talking about wrapping up Phase 4. They said that Feige came out today, and he said basically that Wakanda Forever, when it comes out at the end of the year, that is the end of Phase 4. That had been speculation that Phase 4 was going to be going into the middle of next year, and then they're going to start with Phase 5. But Wakanda Forever ends Phase 4, and then the beginning of Phase 5 will basically be Quantum Mania. And then we go into Guardians. There's going to be a couple of other series. A Secret Invasion series will be going on the Plus. I think the Echo series will be mashed up somewhere in there. So we kind of have a map now for what direction we're headed in.
And that's exactly it. I think we have a heading, which is what we were sorely lacking.
Yeah.
And now we know what we're doing, where we're going, and we know for certain now, because, I mean, we can say that we knew for sure that it was going to be Kang, and Kang was going to be the big bad and the guy we were afraid of and watching out for. But now we know for sure. And we get 2 Avengers movies in a year, which is crazy. And the thing that popped out to me was how short the phases are now. Like, this phase was a year and a half. Yeah. Phase 5 is going to be 1 year because they're saying
a little bit longer, I think.
Well, they're saying Fantastic Four is 2024.
2024, the end of 2024
is
a year and a half.
About a year.
Yeah.
And Phase 4 isn't even over. And that's
Fantastic
phase 6.
4 comes out 2 years from like right around now. It comes out July 26, 2024, 27, 26, somewhere in there. It's at the end of July in 2 years. So yeah. There's going to be a lot of stuff to go over between now and then when we get to Fantastic Four.
It's crazy. Right when we were talking about superhero fatigue this week on Thursday.
It's over. I had it for about 2 days. I've completely recovered from my superhero fatigue. And it didn't even last 48 hours.
That's so funny.
I'm totally recovered, and I don't know, I was binging like The Office and some other just, goofy shows to kind of clear my head, I guess.
Speaking of other things and superhero content that we didn't expect to be so fantastic or even really get that much of, Shazam. The trailer for Shazam came out. That looked just as much fun as the first one. Shazam's one of those movies where it's like, if you like the character and understand that he's a kid in an adult's body and he's dealing with what it's like to be there, I think it's fantastic. And this looks like more of the same, and I can't wait to watch it. The trailer was fantastic, and we're going to check the trailer out right now.
This is the first of 3 trailers we're going to check out tonight.
Yes, sir.
Zach Levi coming back. This is the end of the year. It's right to come out in December, I think it comes out.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking forward to this. Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Fury of the Gods, according to Sonny.
Or Furry of the
I'm
Gods.
an idiot.
It's showtime!
I don't deserve these powers, if I'm being honest. Like, what am I even contributing? Ow! There's already a superhero with a red suit with a lightning bolt on it. Aquaman is literally huge and he's so manly. And Batman is so cool. And I'm
just noticed something I had to bring
me.
up to you.
Okay.
I feel like a fraud. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the wizard gave me superpowers. And then everybody got superpowers.
Where's everyone going?
To fight crime?
Okay.
Now everyone's kind of like doing their own thing, and I'm the only one trying to keep it together.
You understand I'm a pediatrician, right?
Come on!
Now let's get down to business.
Listen to me, Billy. The fate of your world depends on it.
What is this?
The daughters of Atlas are coming for you.
Children stole the power of all the gods. This is very personal, Billy.
Look, I might not have as much experience as you, because I'm not super old like you. But I've seen all of the Fast and the Furious movies, lady. It's all about family!
Shout out Helen Mirren.
Family! Guys, that was a signal!
Introducing the star of our show. His name is Shazam!
Oh, I didn't even realize that lined up with the music like that. That's good.
Your world will not survive this.
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
You think I know how to fix this dude, but I really don't.
Baby, everyone can be worthy. Let's give it a chance. Now go fight for your family. Go fight for the world.
That's so cool.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
See, and that's okay. That's exactly why I love Shazam and the way Zachary Levi plays him. He's a child. How would a child react if they just threw a car at a dragon? Like that. That's how a child would react.
I haven't been in the situation where I've thrown anything at dragons.
Or even as a child. I was never a child.
As a child, even now as an adult, I haven't had many opportunities to throw any appliances or cars at dragons.
You know what? You make a good point. If I was an adult and threw a car at a dragon, I'd probably react like that too.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
But in a world where there's superheroes and you're a child and you're like, holy crap,
yeah,
I just did that. He plays it so well.
He's great. I mean, what was the show? He was Chuck. You know,
Yeah.
he was really funny on that show too. And again, you're talking about, you hit it on the head, that he's playing a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought that there's something that stuck out to me when they were talking about the trailer, when he was mentioning the guy in the costume with the lightning bolt. They didn't show Ezra Miller's face.
No, they didn't. And it wasn't even any kind of. Well, I don't think any of it was new footage. Now that I think about it, but
I think it was all Snyderverse footage.
They were just like, the Flash, he's there, but they showed Batman, they showed Jason Momoa's face.
Of course.
But no Ezra Miller. Anyways, the Shazam.
Anyways.
Shazam looks fantastic. I really like the premise of this too. It's the daughters of Atlas, who is one of the gods that Shazam has the powers of, and they're like, that's not your power, and we're gonna take it and take your world. I think that's a great conflict. I think that's an understandable conflict. I think that's a good thing for them to go up against the gods which they have the power of. And it I kind of hope they maybe like tackle like the idea of, because sometimes Superman in the comics will talk to Shazam, who's the wizard. Shazam is Captain Marvel, but copyright craziness. They didn't copyright it and then or trademark it, and then Marvel took the name, and now that they have to change the name, craziness. But the wizard's name is Shazam, not the character you think is Shazam. Anyways, Superman, a lot of times will talk to him and he's like, why did you thrust a child into this situation?
Right.
Why did you put a kid in this situation? And they're talking about Henry Cavill showing up in Black Adam or in some other things. I think it would be interesting if Henry Cavill was in this, even in just a scene maybe at the end where he's talking to Shazam and he's like, why did you put this kid in this situation?
Let's touch a little bit on that for a moment about Hall H today. We got some additional footage. I wouldn't say it was really like a full trailer, but it was about a minute long of Black Adam, like some new footage from the film. Not really a whole new trailer. It lasted a little bit over a minute. There was no, you mentioned Henry Cavill as Superman. There was no Henry Cavill being announced. What if this is the ultimate like super secret thing that DC is trying to keep, that they've completely sold you on now, that Cavill's not coming back,
right?
And that he shows up in Shazam or he shows up in Black Adam?
That would be, and I mean, the way that Dwayne Johnson has been talking about it, it sounds like, it reminds me of the way they talked about No Way Home before it came out. They were like, maybe, probably not, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think this would be as big as that, but I think it would be fun, because the only character I really would like to see continue be the character from that, I mean, Momoa's fine, is Henry Cavill. I would like to see him continue. I'm not as high on him as some people, but I think that would be a really good dynamic. I think with better writing, Cavill's perfect for that role, and he can play it very well. So if he was in some of those, that would be a lot of fun. And if they kept it a secret and you watch it and he shows up in the movie and not like from the neck down like he does in, I think, the first Shazam movie.
Yeah. He's like, actually he comes to the lunchroom table or something like that.
If it was actually him, that would be really cool. It'd be fun to see if Shazam has like a reaction to that, or he's talking to somebody. He's like, I met Superman at lunch one time.
Right.
And he's Captain Marvel in that moment. That would be really cool.
I think it would be cool too. I mean, again, we don't know. I mean, you didn't see Henry Cavill at Hall H for Marvel either. So, I mean, we don't know exactly what's happening. We know that he's well into, I think they're shooting some Witcher stuff right now, or he might be doing voiceover stuff for a follow-up animated movie or series, I think, or he might be working on the 3rd season of The Witcher. He's fully into that. And I think that he probably does feel like he has some unfinished business with the role. I thought he was great as Superman.
I agree.
And I would like to see him. I'd like to see him take on the role again, at least a couple more times.
For me, I think it's similar. Obviously, don't anyone attack me in the chat. Snyderverse is not as bad as X-Men Wolverine Origins, but it's a similar situation where it was kind of a weird situation and muddled up and not a great film and very divisive at the very least. But Ryan Reynolds was perfect as Deadpool. And I think Henry Cavill was caught up in this weirdness of the Snyderverse, but I think he, despite the writing being kind of funny, just like with Deadpool, I think he could be is perfect for Superman and could continue to be it throughout. The only, like, if we're like picking from the current crop of Superman actors, I think the guy who plays him in Superman Lois is fantastic as well.
Yeah,
But
he's really good.
I would really like to see Henry Cavill continue. And I mean, why not? You know what I mean?
I'd be for it.
I would be for it as well.
If again, we're DC is still kind of in a really weird place. We thought they were kind of gaining some momentum, and then Kevin Feige just came in and hit him over the head. I mean, it just Marvel just kind of like crushed it.
I know.
They got a perfect time slot too, because they're like 6 or 7 hours after DC does their panel, and just like everybody's like locked in on what they're going to do. Like we mentioned at the beginning when we started that it was about 30-ish days ago, there were rumors out there that Marvel was not going to have a presence or a panel at Hall H at the Comic-Con. And then 7 to 10 days later, I'm turning back my my time stone, real quick. I'm giving you a little background there. And then they said, no, in fact, Marvel will be present. And then everyone is assuming there's going to be a new She-Hulk trailer. And then what we're going to get is, as far as the movie goes, we're going to get Black Panther Wakanda Forever, because Thor at that point is done. You're not doing any advertising or marketing for any of that stuff too. You don't have to do all the press tour and whatever.
Do you think one of the reasons maybe this was their plan the whole time? It probably was, but do you think maybe one of the reasons Marvel decided to show the Wakanda Forever trailer at San Diego Comic-Con is because they could sense that, because not a lot of people have been loving Phase 4 as much as that, they could sense that maybe DC had an opening, and they went, no, we're going to shut this down. We're putting we're playing our ace in our hole at San Diego Comic-Con, and we're going to take the attention back.
I think it's very possible, and we've had this conversation for the last few weeks, every Thursday live at 6 p.m. Pacific. But we've also we've been talking amongst ourselves in the chat, and you've talked to your group of friends, and we've all been talking to people. This phase hasn't been that well received as the previous phases, and I don't know if that was their intention, was to show, because we're hearing that this stuff hasn't been released, but in addition to the She-Hulk trailer, the new She-Hulk trailer that we're going to watch in a couple of minutes, and the Wakanda Forever trailer that we're going to watch at the end here, there was footage shown for Guardians 3, which people were losing their minds over.
Mm-hmm.
And they also showed footage for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. They showed Jonathan Majors and Kang. They showed him in full costume. How much of an actual trailer they showed, I don't know, but it was announcement after announcement, and we'll chat about that in a little bit as well. But there was tons of news to come out of their panel, whereas DC did have an opportunity to sort of like seize this momentum, because the reaction by and large for Marvel's Phase 4 hasn't been the best.
No.
And I think that they could have capitalized on it, and Marvel just kind of came in, like you said, and they just kind of like smashed them.
And the thing is, when
She-Hulk,
when you have something like the Infinity Saga at your back, and all these fans who love you and have seen how good everything has been, you have a couple of stinkers or ones that are a little more polarizing than you're used to. But when you put something out like some of the trailers they put out here at San Diego Comic-Con, the goodwill is built up. You go, okay, I didn't love this stuff, but I trust you to do this. Whereas the opposite happens with DC. You can post an incredible Shazam trailer. You can post an incredible Black Adam trailer. But if there's one little thing in it where you're like, you go, well, they have been known to not handle that one little thing very great. So I don't know if I'm gonna be a little bit trepidatious when I come to this.
But if you had not had if Marvel did not do a panel for Hall H, if they didn't do a panel, okay, and then you have DC, say they show a little bit more, say they show footage from the Blue Beetle movie. I know the Blue Beetle movie is like in post-production. It just finished shooting.
Yep.
The Batgirl movie is like almost done or just finished as well in the last like 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot for them to show from either of those films. I'm excited for both of them, but they don't have a lot to show from either of those, and that they're showing some stuff with Black Adam. They could have done something as far as announcements. I mean, Marvel just announced today like 15 things. And yesterday for their animated studio, they announced like 6 projects.
Oh,
and it's like they have a plan.
I just thought about this, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before we get into the She-Hulk trailer, is do you think that they heard the people saying, hey, where is this going? We don't know where it's going, And that's why they announced the Phase 6 Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, because they went, well, we know we're going here, but we want to let the people know that we know where we're going. Do you think they heard that?
And was
said,
this the thing that Feige was talking about when he was saying the next few months you're going to know
might be it. Yeah.
what the Thanos level threat is? That's very possible.
So people were expecting maybe to see it in a film, which probably would have been better, honestly. But to have it, he was talking about the announcement at Comic-Con,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the big one for this, we've been saying this for a while, we thought the big one would be Multiverse of Madness. Didn't really turn out to be that large of a scale. But I think the big one for this will be Quantumania. Now that we know Kang is the central villain for this, or at least the central part of this arc,
yeah.
I think Quantumania, because he's confirmed to be in this, will push that forward a lot. Is Quantumania the first of Phase 5? Yes, because Wakanda is the last
it's
of
in
Phase
February.
4.
And there may be a series of that special. We mentioned that they didn't really talk about today. There was a Guardians Holiday Special, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is supposed to be out in December, and the rumor was they're going to put it out on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
And there was supposed to be some Halloween thing for like Werewolf by Night. And,
Yes, and they didn't say anything about it.
And they didn't mention either of those. They also didn't mention Armor Wars. I'm not complaining about the stuff that Marvel didn't talk about because they gave us a lot.
Yeah.
But it's interesting for where that stuff is going to fit in their overall plan. Or Paul, they could just be waiting. They announced 3 films today. They announced the lineup for Phase 5, and they announced 3 films for Phase 6.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be in 2 or 3 years. These films are going to be starting to come out, and then they have all these open dates. So what I think we're going to get when we get to Disney to D23, it's in September 10th, I think it is. It's about 5-6 weeks away. We're going to get a lot of those other announcements in there. I think they're holding off some stuff, and then like you had mentioned right before we started tonight, that might be when we get the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer. That might be when we get a Guardians trailer, because we don't really know if they even got full trailers for either of those in this panel for Hall H. They may have just been shown some footage, and that's it. We know all the casts for the movies were there. They brought all those guys out, but we don't know.
And hopefully we get to see some of that stuff at D23. But let's watch the She-Hulk trailer right now, and then we'll get to the big one.
She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
Gumby at Law.
August 17th. Exclusively on the Plus.
Wow! Jeez, what the hell, man?
Still in control, no overwhelming feelings of rage.
No, a normal amount of rage.
You do revert back to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?
For comedy, absolutely. This is a multi-year journey you're about to embark on.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex. Spandex is your best friend. Being a Hulk asks for balance. You have so much more to learn. Yes!
So I'm clearly nailing it at all of these things.
If you want to go back to your life as a lawyer, I respect that.
He doesn't mean that.
More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We're going to launch a division for them, and I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it.
Jennifer Waters. Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh. People only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. I think they care because they're like, hey, that girl's green. Jen, do your thing. God, I really like this outfit. I'm not proud of this.
Miss Walters, we answer to a higher power. Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
I am a lawyer. We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
No, the Book of American laws.
Whether you like it or not, you're now a superhero.
Let's do this. You know that friend you had in high school who was way cooler than you were attractive? got all the attention from everyone. Hello.
I think I'm jealous. Is that what I'm feeling?
So, I think that it actually looks really good. I think that the story or whatever they've got going on and all the elements there look pretty good. And that's the second time I watched it, and it's funny. It's got a lot of interesting things going on. I think the training stuff with the Hulk is cool. I think Emil Blonsky being back is fun. And Daredevil's going to be in it. He's an attorney. That makes sense to me. And I am excited for the plot, but it's hard to get past how wonky looking she is. And I don't know why or why. There's some scenes where she actually looks pretty good, like the one where she's standing there with her arm up and fourth wall breaks. Cam said he didn't like that very much, but I kind of do. That's kind of what her thing is in the comics. She breaks the fourth wall and makes jokes and lets you know that she knows she's in a show. But I think that she looks like Gumby. She looks like plasticky. She looks like a character has been taken out of like a animated cartoon and placed into a live action story.
CGI is the issue, and the CGI after they had released the original trailer, I think it was in mid-June when they put out the first trailer, the CGI seemed to be like the biggest concern for a lot of people. I don't think anybody really knows what the story is going to be, so we really can't be too critical of what the story is because we haven't seen it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm excited to see what this is going to be. They've said that it's the first Marvel comedy series, and you can definitely tell that there's going to be some good back and forth between her and Bruce. Wong's a great character, so I mean that's going to be really good. But the CGI is, it's a concern, but it's something eventually that they can kind of get figured out.
Maybe we'll settle into it, and if the show is very good, which honestly after that I think it might be. I think it could be a very good show, and I think the fact that it is 9 episodes and has room to breathe and has room to get the characters to where they need to be without one episode going, well, there's got to be one decision in this second or third episode that happens only because we need to get somewhere in 6 episodes. That's not going to happen because we have a whole 3 extra episodes, and we can actually develop these characters and give them time to have arcs in each episode and make decisions make sense. I'm excited and interested to see that stuff.
And the thing is too is that right at the end of that trailer, you see for just a second Matt Murdock, Daredevil, right there on that rooftop. Something else that was announced in addition to all of the other announcements that they made at Hall H today for the Marvel panel is that there is going to be a Daredevil series next year. It's going to be 18 episodes.
Born Again. Daredevil Born Again on the Plus. It's like this massive course correction is like we're doing like 6 and 9 episodes. It's like 18.
Well, give them 18 and just see what happens.
Well, should we do 2 seasons? Should we do a movie? No, let's give them 18 episodes.
Just film them all and split them up if you want to. I mean,
I'll take it. I don't honestly. I think we'll see how we feel about it when we get there.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I think I'm very excited for it just because Charlie Cox is incredible, and it sounds like he's going to be sprinkled in throughout things. They're saying he's going to be in She-Hulk, and there was one other thing.
He's going to be in Echo next year.
Echo, that's what it was that they were saying he's going to be in. And I couldn't tell. I think that was his red suit, but they're saying he may be in his black and yellow suit, which would be super cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just glad that they're doing more Daredevil. And
Same. Yeah.
Because that's, as far as the TV shows go, other than Loki, it's the most well-revered. It's the best one for most people, obviously, whatever. But I think he as a character slots into this world perfectly. And it sounds like, I wish I could remember, there was a announcement or leak kind of earlier where it said in one season of something, they're going to be looking for Jessica Jones with Matt Murdock. It might even have been this.
It might be this.
And it sounds like Kristen Ritter's going to come back, and she is fantastic.
Yeah.
She is really, really good. and to see these characters who were good getting folded back in, like they put Anson Mount in Multiverse of Madness. If you're gonna put Anson Mount in a MCU film, put Charlie Cox in the universe.
Yeah, and
put
I don't.
Kristen Ritter in the universe.
I completely agree with you, and they could definitely bring her back, and
13 of those will be Mando.
With 18, that's great. The 18 episodes. Within those 18 episodes, they can do they can set the groundwork for a Midnight Suns project. They could set the groundwork for another Defenders type of show. There's all kinds of things they can do if they have the 18 episodes, and they're doing this. If they do this right, I mean,
they could do 13 episodes of Mando.
They do 13 episodes within the 18 episodes.
But I'm, kind of non-TV show announcement that I'm excited about. I am so happy that Blade is a movie. It is not going to be a TV show. It's going to be a movie.
Yeah.
I think Mahershala Ali is incredible. And that was one of those things where I'm like thinking about, okay, what do I want to be a movie? What do I want to be a show? What might be a show? And I was like, I could see them doing Blade as a show. And I don't want to watch 8 episodes of Blow. Of Blow.
We don't want to watch 8 episodes of Blow either.
Of Blade. I don't want to watch 8 episodes of Blow either. Of Blade. Euphoria. Shout out Euphoria.
Wow.
But I want to watch a movie with those characters. And I'm really excited for that.
Of the shows, other than Blow, what are you excited that was announced today in Hall H? What are some other shows you were... that kind of piqued your interest as far as for what they're going to have even next year in Phase 5?
So, I mean, I was really attracted to all the movies. I think Echo could be interesting. I think that's one of those things where it's kind of like Hawkeye or kind of like some of these other ones where people were like, I don't know if I'm that interested, but it could be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could do really good and interesting things with those characters and tell a story that it doesn't like... I'm caught in this weird in between where I want things to push the narrative forward of the whole universe, but I also just want good stories.
Yeah.
And I think this Echo TV show, a lot like Hawkeye, no one expects it to be grand and to push the universe forward. And I think that gives it an opportunity
more grounded and
to be grounded like Hawkeye. Whereas there was a movie like Multiverse of Madness where it probably should have pushed the universe forward more than it did. And it tried to be somewhere in between.
It needed more madness.
And it needed way more madness.
Yeah.
More multiverse, too.
And more Blow.
But it's... more Blow. But now we get it confirmed that this is the multiverse saga. We already kind of knew that.
Yeah.
And we're going to... It's just the fact that we have a heading now and we know where we're going and what the end game is so good. I'm so excited for that.
He said end game.
I did say end game. I also said Blow.
Okay, so... with this stuff that like he made all these announcements today, we do have something mapped out, some type of plan in place that this is being referred to as the multiverse saga. How about the fact that in Phase 4 and Phase 5, he said it a long time ago, there was not going to be an Avengers film in Phase 4. He said there might not be another Avengers movie.
Yeah, we all kind of
knew. Then we got to Phase 6, and now we're going to have 2 Avengers films, and they're scheduled to be like 7 months apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome.
That is super dope.
The Russos, I read something on the way over here. They're not going to be involved.
Hopefully they get somebody who has the kind of understanding of the universe that they do. TV show we kind of skipped over, Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be great.
That's going to be right in line with, I think, whenever it's right before or right after Quantumania comes out in the theater.
I think that's got Loki potential to be like push the universe forward and just be fantastic. You got a great cast in there.
They may have showed footage for that today too. I don't know.
You know what would be cool for Secret Invasion? Super Skrull.
That'd be awesome.
Getting a Super Skrull would be awesome, and then we can go, oh, he could be part of the Fantastic Four movie. And what if the Fantastic Four movie, they're fighting Super Skrull because the Skrulls are already in the universe, and then we can kind of just insert Doctor Doom. It doesn't have to be a Doctor Doom.
That'd be cool.
Or he can be part of someone they're working with to figure out what Super Skrull is and why he's dangerous and how he's stealing their powers and stuff like that. I am excited for Secret Invasion and to see what they're going to do with it. And this is what this kind of announcement does, right? It gets our minds going. It goes, okay, what characters could we see? Okay, we could see Super Skrull. We could see how many versions of Kang are we going to see? And you were telling me about one of the scenes that people were talking about that they showed, and it was Ant-Man being like, "I'm an Avenger. I'm not afraid of you," and Jonathan Majors Kang's is like, which Avenger are you? Have I killed you before?
Right.
And then Paul Rudd's like, "No, I'm an Avenger. I'm an Avenger." And then Kang's like, "I'm a conqueror."
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff that gets you excited, and I really want to see that at D23. And I think they revealed the perfect amount of stuff at Comic-Con to still have enough stuff at D23 to get us going at that too.
We may or may not be doing, but definitely will be trying to do some type of live reaction to when they have all of the Marvel announcements for D23 come September. You know, that's going to be about a week, 10 days out from when we have a Comic-Con here in town. The Las Vegas Comic-Con is coming September 16th through the 18th here in town. One movie that we all speculated about, we were waiting to see our first official footage and a trailer for. We weren't sure how everybody was going to be processing this or receiving it. We finally got our first look at Wakanda Forever, I guess right when the session ended, when their panel was wrapping up. They put the trailer out online, and I've already watched it about 6 times.
Yeah, for real, same.
It was incredible. We're gonna wrap with this. So we're gonna watch the Wakanda Forever trailer coming out in November, as November 11th this year. We're excited for this. This is the last part or segment or chapter of Phase 4,
which is kind of what we thought it was gonna be, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna check this out real quick here. This is Wakanda Forever, November 11th, exclusively in theaters.
No woman, no cry. Hey, little darling, don't shed no tear. No woman, no cry. Good friends we have, and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say.
Wow. That's the 4th time I've watched it, and it somehow is better when it was already incredible.
It just got chills. I mean, that's ridiculous.
So, I mean,
perfect song choice.
Kendra, Cam, everyone in the comments are just talking about how incredible the music is, which was a huge part of the first one and how great that one was. I think we all had like our questions about how are they going to handle this? What are they going to do with the passing of Chadwick Boseman? And I have full confidence that this movie is going to be just as incredible, if not better than the first one. I think Donovan in the chat, shout out Donovan, he said that he thinks that Namor and his people are going to invade Wakanda, and that's going to result in T'Challa's death. And that's going to start the war between Wakanda and Namor and Atlantis and stuff like that. I think that would be one of the most compelling conflict in any Marvel movie yet.
I think that it's a weird thing to balance something that happened for real, versus a character that is no longer there on screen. It's a very hard thing for them to balance. This cast is very much a family. And for you to go through something like they did, losing someone who's a member of their family, they consider a member of their family, is a very it's a big bonding type of sequence. You can hear it in Angela Bassett playing Queen, her Queen Ramonda. She's her emotion comes across
like someone's cutting onions right now.
In the role, her emotion comes across on screen is that she lost her son T'Challa, and then she's lost an actor that she probably viewed as this up and coming actor.
Her friend.
Who's
her friend, someone she cared about. It's it really, really looks incredible. I think the fun thing to kind of think about and try to figure out what might be happening and then watch it and hopefully be, if not surprised, fulfilled. Who do we think is in that Black Panther costume at the end?
So there's probably a lot of people that would love to say it's Killmonger. They found a way to just bring Killmonger back.
I would like that
in the mix. That would be kind of neat. I think M'Baku is probably too big for that person we saw on the beach in 2 or 3 seconds. Winston Duke is huge.
He's an enormous dude, and that is if the guy in the Black Panther costume didn't look, I mean, it doesn't look small.
No,
but they don't look the size of Winston Duke.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm like, I kind of don't think it's him. It could be him, and it's just a weird force perspective, and he doesn't look as big.
It could be someone else just in the role be a distraction.
So I posted a poll on Twitter. We got 30, 40 votes. I said M'Baku, Killmonger, reuse Chadwick Boseman footage to get him in the suit one last time, which I would love. Or I put other. Right now, 52% of the vote is on other. We got about 3% on Chadwick, 26% for Killmonger, and 19% for M'Baku. A lot of the feedback I got back is kind of the same as like what we're talking about. It looks too small to be M'Baku.
Yeah.
And on first watch, I was like, it looks too big to be Shuri. But rewatching, I don't think it does look too big to be Shuri. Or even Lupita Nyong'o, I think it could possibly be her. I think that no matter who takes it up, or maybe we get a scene at the end where Namor and his people are invading Wakanda one final time. We get M'Baku in a Black Panther suit. We get Shuri in a Black Panther suit. We get Lupita Nyong'o, I can't remember her character's name, in a Black Panther suit. And we get maybe Killmonger shows up in one. Maybe somehow he's back. And I'm like, we want death to be permanent because then it actually matters and it makes things hit a little bit harder. But I think this would be a rare instance where having Killmonger come back and seeing how resolute he was at the end of the first Black Panther and the passing of T'Challa and Chadwick being what makes him go, I have a second chance at life.
Yeah.
I still believe the things I believe, but I believe doing them the way T'Challa wanted to do them is the way to do them. And if he comes back and helps push that forward, I think that would be fantastic. That's kind of wishful thinking for me. I would love to see that just because I think it would be incredibly powerful. But I trust any of the people they put into that costume, I am with. I think
they show Riri Williams. You know, they show her for a couple of scenes in there, and that is kind of a cool way for them to be introducing future characters. Obviously, it was probably the worst kept secret other than, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being in No Way Home.
Right.
That Tenoch Huerta was going to be playing Namor.
How cool does he look, dude?
He looks great.
He looks incredible.
The quick little flash of him walking on the beach as a little boy and then as the full grown man, that was really cool.
Do you think that's his mother or someone giving birth to him underwater in the beginning? That's so cool.
That's what I think.
It's so. And I mean, it all stems from, and I asked when we were live Thursdays at 6 p.m. the other week, I was like, is Ryan, we watched the trailer for the new movie with Viola Davis, and we were like, is this going to take some of the punch from Wakanda Forever away? This trailer confirms, no, it is not.
No,
absolutely not.
Not going to work.
But do we think that, oh man, I lost my train of thought. But I think this does look fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what they do with these characters. And Namor is just someone that we've been wanting to see for a long time. He was the blip on the map in one of the Marvel movies, and now we get to see him fully realized and kind of as a villain. And I think that's the most interesting way to use him.
You kind of twist it a little bit as you use him as the antagonist, and then you bring in characters because they've talked about, Atuma, who's like an antagonist of Namor, being involved in some capacity in this film, and that maybe he's the one kind of behind the scenes sort of manipulating Namor. And then you get to see the classic war. I mean, a lot of background context to this, but for the Illuminati in the comic books, okay, there's a reason why it's Namor or Black Panther being a member of the Illuminati, because their countries and their groups were at war for so long that they would not take place in this secret society. Only one or the other could be present. And that was a cool little nod to me that they didn't have either of them present, in the Illuminati, because they're kind of waiting for this sort of reveal to be, developed right in front of our eyes. I think that, we're talking about Kang, and that him being that Thanos level threat that we're going to get for these phases of the multiverse saga. Does this make you think more or less that we are likely to get Doctor Doom before we get to phase, I don't know, 7 or 8 or whatever?
I think they would be remiss if they didn't. I think the first time we will see Doctor Doom will be Fantastic Four.
I was worried you were going to say that.
I think that's the first time we're going to see him. I think they're going to let Kang kind of be himself. Then we'll get him in Fantastic Four. And then my hope is that one of the unannounced projects after Fantastic Four, before Kang Dynasty and mainly before Secret Wars, is a Doctor Doom film. We get a whole
series
film.
Because we had the whole
I would like
the
a film,
whole
but
Howard Stern thing about him being like leaking stuff off on air, that they're reading some commercial or something like that, and he says something about being involved in Doctor Doom and talking to RDJ and talking to Jon Favreau. So I mean, people started to connect the dots. Like Howard Stern is involved in the Doctor Doom movie. He's not going to be playing Doctor Doom, because the rumors are out there about in the MCU about the casting is that they're leaning towards like Javier Bardem or something to play the character, or Cillian Murphy.
I think
there's been those kind of mentions. Howard Stern is not playing Doctor Doom in the MCU.
No,
he could be playing some other Marvel character that is going to be kind of like in that role of like the Collector, Del Toro, or like a Goldblum.
My
type of guy.
two main, like if I can like Dreamcast, it's Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem, I've wanted to be a villain in a superhero film for a long time. I was hoping for the longest time he was going to be Darkseid, because that would be unbelievable.
That would have been cool.
And my other one is Giancarlo Esposito. Giancarlo Esposito would be an incredible Doctor
And now we're
Doom.
hearing that he may be Professor X. We're not sure that he's been, I don't know if he's been signed for some type of role, or to hear all these actors. I mean, now it seems like everything's come full circle where people are like, oh, I don't want to do superhero movie. It's like now everybody is signed on to do a superhero movie. Everybody's involved.
You know what I think went a long way to do that? Oscar Isaacs didn't have to sign a massive contract to do Moon Knight. And I think that's what a lot of these actors were going, I want to be a part of this, but I don't want to get locked in for years and years and years and years. And now they're going, hey, we're going to sign you to like, it's like a 10-day. They're like, hey, we're going to get you in for this movie. And then if we come to an agreement, we'll keep you here and we'll keep doing things, but we'll have your arc in that movie. That way, if you don't want to do this for the next 20 years, you don't have to. And I mean, from like a narrative standpoint, it's like, well, what if we lose the guy we cast as Doctor Doom? I get that, but I have a feeling like with that kind of leniency and ability to do other projects, people are more likely to come. And we're seeing that.
You always get these announcements too, Paul, is that you're announcing projects that are going to be 2 to 3 years out, and that you don't have casts attached to it. Like there were some people I was watching different chats and different chat groups like on YouTube, like doing reactions to a lot of stuff going on with San Diego Comic-Con, is that, people we've kind of gotten spoiled as fans, in that, the stuff that we don't see, it's like all the stuff that you had revealed at Hall H. They're like, well, why didn't they cast Reed Richards yet? Or why didn't they put out the whole lineup for such and such
it comes
movie?
out in 2 years.
And it's like, relax.
They haven't even
they
started
got time.
principal photography.
They got to map all that stuff out and figure it out. Trust in the Kevin Feige process. Phase 4 has been, has had a lot of challenges.
Well,
but we talked about the finales with the shows,
mm-hmm.
okay, and some of the movies have had their, they've all had their amount of challenges. Wakanda Forever being the last movie, again, we have not seen it, but it's going to be the last part of Phase 4.
Yep.
They're going out with a bang.
Yeah, just not necessarily for like a huge universe connection standpoint, but just with an incredible film, I'm hoping. And Cam asks an interesting question. Now that we know where everything's going, are we going to look back on Phase 4 a little more kindly? I think yes and no. I think from a standpoint of it feeling kind of aimless, I think we'll be a little more kind on that. We're like, well, okay, we can see the plot lines now. But from a fact that Thor: Love and Thunder just wasn't as good as we wanted it to be. Multiverse of Madness just wasn't as good or as grand of a scope as we wanted it to be. And I think those are the two big ones. I think those are the ones that people wanted to be great and they were just okay. At best. And I think Eternals, everyone's like, no one really liked Eternals that much. There are people, but most people didn't. But people are like, Eternals, that's okay. That doesn't hurt the whole like grand scope of things. I can kind of forgive that, get over it. I think it was those two films in particular, Multiverse of Madness, because No Way Home was fantastic. Everyone loved it. Maybe it wasn't the greatest movie ever, like from a plot standpoint, but it hit all the marks you wanted it to hit for a film and for a Spider-Man multiverse film. I think it was just mainly those two films, and hopefully with Wakanda Forever, and now that we know where we're going into Phase 5, we'll go, that was a little bump in the road, but like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, the Infinity Saga wasn't perfect.
No.
And hopefully we can move past these two films, which admittedly weren't horrible.
With Eternals, it had a ton of challenges, and it was not well received. I mean, we've talked about on the show, a lot of times. Collectively, Eternals is probably our least favorite, or it's in the last 2 or 3 favorite MCU films overall. The film is too long. It doesn't have that connectivity to where you care at all. It takes too long to develop. Yeah. They processed, and the movie was just not great. Now, what you're saying about movies with follow-up films, Dark World gets followed up by Ragnarok. It's really well received. Feige has mentioned that he plans to do another Eternals film.
Well, and I'm not even mad at that.
And it could be really good.
Yeah.
They could scale down the cast. I would try to make the movie not 3 hours long.
Right.
Okay. And you can have connectivity now that you've introduced these characters, Paul. You can connect these characters to other people that are in the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe. Adam Warlock, Nova, the Guardians.
Well, we get Warlock in
Ravagers, whatever.
Guardians 3, right?
Warlock is in Guardians. Adam Poulter was there today for the panel when they rolled out the cast for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. He was there.
And then there's just a lot of characters that we can get in these movies that are coming up, and that we're seeing where it's going, so we can say, okay, we'll get him here. Warlock is a great example of who we might get, or who we're gonna get in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just excited to see where it's going and all the characters we're gonna get to see, and how they're gonna interact with this world. I think Namor is a perfect example for what's coming up soon, that we're going to get to see a character we've been waiting. When's the last time we got a character we've been waiting to see for so long?
No, that's true.
Jonathan Majors, maybe?
Yeah.
And I think this weird thing happened with Phase 4, where the movies were either an hour and 50 minutes long or 3 hours and 5 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And it was really strange. It was like, okay, well, you're either not giving yourself enough time to flesh it out.
They couldn't find their sweet spot.
Or you don't have the time to fill it all out. I think someone made a really good point. The entirety of
Phase 4 is longer than the other,
twice as long as the other phases.
3 phases together.
And I think that is definitely hurt it. And they were a little more, their butter was spread too thin on their bread.
Sure.
And that kind of hurt it. Hopefully, now that they're still gonna keep doing a lot of stuff in Phase 5 and 6, maybe they'll have a better hold on how to tackle all of it at once. COVID probably didn't help.
I'm sure it didn't.
They were producing all this stuff through this and writing it, and then it got kind of rushed, and they had to do what they needed to do. And hopefully they have more time and learn from what they kind of messed up on this time. And I think All in the Game makes a really good point. Wakanda Forever is the end of Phase 4, but I think Phase 5, or the start of Phase 5, Quantumania, will really wrap up Phase 4.
Sure.
I think that will definitely be the thing that wraps it up, but also propels us into Phase 5. I think it's kind of semantics as to whether Quantumania falls in Phase 4 or Phase 5.
Yeah.
A lot of it's kind of semantics with that kind of stuff. But I think that will be the the kind of dime we turn on right there.
You know, we have a series, and then we have one more movie to wrap up Phase 4 before we move on to all the other things that have already been announced or were officially announced
what are
for
some
these
stuff?
next phase and a half.
What are some things we
of
didn't
movie.
mention?
Well, you know,
Thunderbolts.
Sam Wilson is going to get his own Cap movie, Captain America: New World Order.
Yep.
The Thunderbolts movie is going to be the end of Phase 5, so we'll get a lot of these anti-heroes that we've been seeing in post-credit scenes from series and films. We'll get what's her name, Hot Sauce, Yelena Belova back to
Hot Sauce.
Again, we'll just put the hot sauce and everything. I'm not calling her Hot Sauce.
No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying. But yeah.
And then we got Secret Invasion, Thunderbolts, the new Captain America film, Fantastic Four is announced. I'm just so glad we have a heading. That's the main thing we wanted, right?
Agreed.
Was a heading to know where we were going and to understand what was at stake and what was happening for sure. Because although Kang and Loki was like, this is what's happening, it was in a TV show, and everyone's going, is that going to be just a plot for Quantumania, or is that going to be a plot for the entirety of this saga?
And another thing for planning stuff out and what they can do as far as advancing anything. And you mentioned COVID and production issues and everything else. With Loki, the only thing they did, remember, there was no post-credit scene. They just announced that Loki will be back for another season. That's all they could do at that point. And, you know, Loki was pretty much the most well-received show, I think, of the Plus shows.
Easily.
You know, it's not really that close. I mean, my personal favorite is WandaVision, but I still think Loki was the best show.
Right.
Loki was great. Tom Hiddleston was great, and we're gonna get more of that. I guess next year we're gonna get it. They're almost done, I think, shooting the second season of Loki.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I know they were filming it. Principal photography, I guess, for shows like this and movies like this take a little bit longer than average stuff, but it's like shooting a movie only takes 2 months, a month sometimes. Depending on the scale and TV shows, what's going on there. But I'm sure they're wrapping filming soon.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe get some stuff from that soon.
So this Thursday, we'll have our usual cast of characters back live and better than ever, 6 p.m. Pacific. This Thursday night, we will be back here, powered by Gorilla Cross in beautiful sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Our super dope producer, Quanzilla, is here.
Real. Shout out to Quan. He was like, yo, get in here.
We appreciate
do some
that.
San Diego Comic-Con stuff. We got an opportunity that we usually wouldn't do, and we appreciate all you guys being in the chat and talking it up with us.
San Diego Comic-Con, Paul, is not over. There's one more day tomorrow. There could be more stuff coming out tomorrow. Sometimes they get sneaky with that stuff about the San Diego Comic-Con. They'll put something else out, and you're like, oh, I thought Comic-Con was over.
Thought it was over.
Yeah. So we could have.
You think DC's rustling around in their, duffel bag? Like, we gotta get something out.
They want to call another panel, like an emergency panel. I was like, hey, come down here. We're going to do something
They're
else.
going to put, what's it called?
They're just going to announce Cavill as Superman, and he doesn't even know.
Yeah, for real. Oh, I am?
I am again?
They're going to put, what's it called? Visual artwork for the Batman 2. They're like,
I heard that they are doing a screening tonight for Black Adam.
Okay.
And if you went to the panel,
hopefully it's good.
The fans that went to the panel got tickets. They got tickets to go see it for free. They gave everybody a ticket to go
that's
see
cool.
it.
Hopefully
so that's a good gesture on their part to do it. They did that a couple years ago, a few years back. Jonathan and I were at San Diego Comic-Con, and they gave out tickets to go see Scott Pilgrim.
Do you think
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
Do you think maybe we get a confirmation of Black Adam in Shazam? Maybe
that would be cool.
It would be sick. I think they need to get those two characters together.
They would be great on screen together.
Well, they would, because Dwayne Johnson is so good at being the macho tough guy. He is great for Black Adam, because that's the kind of guy Black Adam is. And Zachary Levi plays that childlike wonder so well, and he can be like standing up to this big bully like he did in the beginning of the first Shazam movie.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see that dynamic, and I hope all the cool stuff that is in Black Adam works, because I think Hawkman looks really cool. I think Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan, looks fantastic. Yeah. And I think if we can just have that really cool stuff, because, I mean, the DC stuff has not been without cool ideas. The execution has been a lot all over the place.
Yeah.
I think this movie could be great. I think this movie could be an absolute mess. But yeah, I think Quan's right. I think DC needs to kind of pull something out of their hat and go, hey, look at this too. We got more of this coming on.
Yeah, my biggest concern for what didn't happen with DC is that we didn't get something with regards to the Flash.
The Flash, which is what Donovan just mentioned.
And we didn't see any of that, and we didn't get Blue Beetle footage or the Batgirl footage or whatever that they can't be. They couldn't make it happen. I understand that.
Do you know
that stuff happens.
Any of the big panels that are still to come? Off the top of your head?
For tomorrow, I think there's other film companies that are going to be doing some things, because I know that Paramount released some stuff during the day today. They're doing like a Teen Wolf movie, I think. Sandman. We're going to talk about this on Thursday, but the Sandman series for Netflix was announced. They put the trailer out. We're going to be watching that on Thursday as well. There's still some things that can be announced. The thing that happens on Sunday traditionally is a lot of stuff that's non-comic book, but is still kind of in that genre.
Well,
supernatural horror or whatever stuff, they could still release some of those things on
my
Sunday.
kind of pie in the sky was, I want more like announcements from Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg about Invincible.
That'd be great.
I want to see more of that and see where that's going on and where the live action show is at, or movie, whatever it is that they're doing. But that's kind of my wishful thinking for Comic-Con. But I think we got a lot of fantastic stuff today.
We did.
Way more. I've been throwing fantastic around like crazy because it was fantastic.
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. But we got way more than we expected to. And I'm all over again. Super excited about MCU stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, and this Thursday, we're going to dive in deeper to it. Going over whatever may be announced tomorrow and all the stuff that's been announced so far in the last few days. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us on a Saturday.
Yep.
I felt like we did pretty good for a Saturday. Usually we're locked into Thursday night.
Yep.
But I think we did all right.
It was fun to, sit a little bit closer to Frank and talk to you guys on an extra day.
You're always sitting close.
Just not this close.
Not this close, yeah. But guys, we appreciate you taking the time to check us out tonight. We will be back on Thursday night live at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we'll talk to you then. We hope you have a good night.
Yep. Later, guys. Thanks for hanging out. See ya.